Hello there. I have no idea if I'm looking at you because I believe I'm looking at the camera, but then when I watch these videos back, I'm looking like somewhere over here. Dramatic, I know, but it does seem like my eyes are just not looking where I'm supposed to. Anyway, let's get into the video. So I went on my first ever, like, I don't know if you want to call it a solo date, but I think that's like the word for it nowadays, the trending word, the hip word, whatever. So basically, let's go back to the beginning. I've been after a vegan Swiss roll for the longest time because I used to love a Swiss roll. So good. So I was like, I'll Google it, see if there's anything out there. And a place I go to, Vegan Antics, I'm not sure if you can see this. Basically, it's a bakery, well, it does a bit of everything. It says 100% vegan bakery, Vegan Antics in Gravesend. It is delicious. So basically, oh, I keep saying basically, don't worry about that. We can repeat ourselves and that's okay. Every time I talk this stuff in my head, it sounds so much better. And then when I say it out loud, I just get thrown away. I don't know if it's because I'm just talking to a phone. So let's go back to it. Brain scattered away again. They had on there a brownie cookie dough Swiss roll. So it weren't technically like the sponge, the traditional Swiss roll that we would know of. But I was like, I'll give it a go. So you could order it online to be delivered, or you can do a free click and collect. And I was like, brilliant, let's do a click and collect. However, the dilemma for me, it's not a huge dilemma, but it was for me in the moment when I'm not used to doing things like this, was I would have to go and collect it. Because my boyfriend would have work and it would cost him more to drive there, park up, all this stuff. It'd be cheaper for me to get the train. So I was like, do I do it? I think it was Wednesday I found it and I was like, okay, Thursday we'll give them a call. But in my head back there somewhere, I was already thinking my boyfriend could give them a call. My boyfriend can deal with that and find out and probably drive us there and collect it because that's just what he does. Is quite helpful, thoughtful, caring. And because he is so busy, that side of him didn't fully come out, but he also wanted me to push myself out of my comfort zone, I guess. So it ended up being him going, we'll give him a call then. So this is Thursday now. I'm like, they might not, blah, blah, blah. Because I couldn't, to click and collect, you had to pick a date, and it wouldn't have been the date, like say the Friday that I was planning to go collect it. I was like, oh, it's not on there. But something in me just went, just call them. So I tried calling them. They answered straight away. And I just asked, have you got the brownie cookie dough Swiss roll in? They said yes. And I said, can I click and collect it for tomorrow? Absolutely. Left my name with them and pay when you arrive there. So I did that and got off the phone. I was like, oh my God, it looks like I'm going to Gravesend tomorrow. And then immediately I start thinking, is it worth it? Is it worth the travelling, the train fare, all these things just to go and collect 2 pieces of this brownie cookie dough Swiss roll, which come to £7, and they're really chunky and they was good actually, very sickly. Would I get again? No, I don't think so. Maybe tastes better warmed up with like custard or ice cream. Anyway, back to the point. So I was like, oh. So I tried not to think about it too much, but at the same time I was like, oh my God, I'm actually doing it. But I carried on with my day on the Thursday. It got later on, I was like, I better start looking at the train times for tomorrow and what I'm going to wear. And then I really started to treat it like my own little date. And I was like, just do it. So I thought, what am I going to wear? I want to feel a bit good for myself. I want to feel comfortable. I want to feel confident. And I feel like for me, if my hair looks good, my face, I don't really wear full face of makeup. But if I feel like I look a bit cute, that will help with my confidence as well. And anyway, looked at train times, didn't plan it too much. Just saw what different trains and the direct one straight from Sittingbourne to Gravesend. It was like 30 something minutes, just one trip. I didn't have to get off. It was so simple and easy. So I just looked at the different times because my boyfriend had a couple of jobs in Sittingbourne, so I was trying to work it around that. And I did just We left. I don't know what we did. Did we leave? What did we do? I don't know if we had like a coffee here before. Anyway, I went to the train station, got on the train, and I was just sat on the train thinking, this is the first time I believe that I've got on a train that isn't actually to go to an event or an occasion or an appointment or to actually go and do or need to do something. I know I was going to collect the Swiss rolls, but that was more of a, it wasn't a need. Like, I know I booked it in, but it was just still like more chilled and casual. There weren't no set time to collect it. They shut at 4, obviously. And it was just like the weirdest feeling. I felt really light and free and just, I don't know how to explain it. It felt like I had energy. I felt alive. I felt awake. I felt this like, I don't know. I really don't know. I just felt this feeling that was a positive, nice feeling that I don't know if I've ever felt really. And maybe I felt it when I was younger before life gets serious and responsibilities kick in. But it was just really nice. And then when I got out again, I didn't have a clue. I didn't look at where I'm going, how I get to the high street. So I come out of the train station, I looked around at the signs. It looked like the high street was to the left, so I walked towards the left. And this is why I like not looking up the directions, because it allows you to communicate with other people. It pushes you to have to ask, like, excuse me, do you know the direction, blah blah blah. And I did. I asked this, assuming there was a couple, I'm not sure. And I said, are you from this area? And I was like, not really. I was like, do you know the way to the high street? And they said, that way. It wasn't too far from train station. It was so easy to find. And they was like, thank you for the easy question. And that interaction just felt so good. It made me feel seen, heard, alive. I smiled. There's a laugh between humans. That interaction was just amazing. I just felt really good. I felt really like a spring in my step, really bouncy. And then I went straight to Vegan Antics. I did my collection. I actually got a like a salted pepper steak. Oh, my throat. Panini. Am I talking too quick? um, Went and collected that, and then I walked down the bottom, found somewhere to sit, and I sat on a bench looking out at, I don't know if it's their river or something. It was like a big red boat. I will insert some short videos or clips if I know how. If I don't, it's just because I've not been able to figure it out on the app that I've got to potentially download, whatever. But yeah, I went and sat on a bench, and as I was sitting down, there was like quite a few empty benches, and there was a lady over here with a baby. So I thought I'll sit over this end. There's no one here. Can be by myself. And there was like 2 benches like this, and again there was so many other benches that way. That was all empty. So as I sort of took my bag off, went to sit down to eat my panini, just breathe, and I was going to read and journal and just be present and be with nature and just take everything in, not thinking, where have I got to go next? Literally just really wanted to push myself to be present and enjoy it, being alone and being by myself and not having to worry about the other person if they're with you. Like, where do they want to go? Are they bored now? Are they hungry? Are they thirsty? Do they need to go and buy anything? Do they want to see anything? Yeah. So anyway, didn't have any of that, so I thought I'd enjoy it. As soon as I sit down, a man comes and sits in the other bench. Bearing in mind there are so many other benches, he was trying to make eye contact. And then he ended up sitting on the bench. So every time I like looked over this way, just because in my head I was thinking, why has he chose to sit there? He's got so many benches. Where he's chose to sit doesn't have a good view. Like, there's a boat blocking his bit. And I was like, okay, don't allow it to bother you. But every time I looked over, he would try and look straight at me. And I was like, okay, do I say hello? Whatever, I didn't. But it really was interesting because the old me would have been like really annoyed. So like my Tixe voice is like the voice that doesn't serve me, that doesn't help me, my negative voice, my unhelpful voice. So Tixe would have been like, oh my god, why is he sitting there? How desperate, what pervert, why, like, can you not just leave me alone? You've got all those benches, seriously. what are you doing? What are you looking at? How annoying is that? How frustrating and irritating. And I'd find myself getting worked up, and I probably would have walked away and just been so annoyed and probably just like gave evils or whatever and had attitude. I was like, no, just sit here. So hope started coming in. I didn't physically feel any of those feelings, but I was able to be aware that I would have thought that in the past. I was like, no, just be present. Don't allow it to bother you. So I just sat there, ate my food, then reapplied my lip balm and wiped my hands. And then I did some journaling. I actually journaled about that situation, how it would have made me feel and how I was handling it. And I was actually proud of myself. It showed growth. It showed that my Tixe voice isn't always right, but she's making up stories. Who is she to say that's true or factual? And I know a lot of it comes from conditioning and things I've heard and learned, and potentially holding on to things that I have witnessed and experienced in the past, but it doesn't always mean that that is the same experience or story. So I was so proud of myself for listening to Hope and just sticking through it. And once I felt like my time was up there, I put my stuff away, I walked away, and I just looked back. That was Tixe in there just pushing a little bit just to be curious. I looked back and he was gone. He actually left quite soon after I left, and I was like, it's fine, just it's okay. But yeah, that happens. But again, I handled it and I'm so proud of myself. Um, and he actually did look back at me, so I was looking and he looked, I was like, oh my God. And then it's like that Tixe voice, like, see, told you. See, he was just there for you. See, he was trying to get your attention. See, whatever. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. Nothing bad happened to me. Like, doesn't mean this is true, but prove this person sort of right. It's just a coincidence. Whatever it is, we don't know. It doesn't matter. It's not worth it. So I carried on my day. I walked up the high street. The high street that I was up was where the vegan antics is. There was more independent shops and businesses. It's where also the Gravesend market usually is. And I just was like, okay, I'm going to walk into here. So I went in one with, what was it called? Something Dollhouse. Again, I'll try and insert some clips if I can. They won't be fully great. But I did also use my voice in these shops and asked if I can record, which took a lot of confidence for me, because sometimes I feel like, who am I to record? Who am I? Who do I think I am? Like, I'm no YouTuber. I'm no influencer. I'm no status. I'm like, no, just ask. It's okay. And I did, and she said, yeah, that's fine. So I recorded some bits, and I had all these little miniature doll's house, all figurines, and like, it was so cute, and like some really old books, and it was just so lovely being in there. I was taking it all in, and I spoke with the gentleman that was also in there. I assume he worked there. I was like, this stuff's so cute, and he was like, it's so cute. But yeah, it was lovely. And then I left there, and then I saw like a sign outside a shop, said like crystals and stuff. I was like, oh, I want to go in there. But it was a bit confusing because I think, well, I've got a little card actually. It's called Maria's Tea Room and Emporium. So it's a bit confusing at first, because it's like, is it a tea room with like crystals and stuff inside there? And that sort of put me off before, because I was like, I don't want to go in there while everyone's eating and then try and shop as well. But it's not. It's Maria's Tea Room is to the left. Well, yeah, if you're looking at it, to the left. And on the right is the Emporium. And in the Emporium, that's where they do like loose tea. I don't know, they don't do coffee anymore, but they do bath bombs. They do like natural soaps. They do sniffing salts. They do essential oils that you can roll around. They do essential oils. They do wax melts. They do all crystals. They do crystal bracelets. They do bangles. Just, I highly recommend that store. Go in. I'm so glad I did, because at first I walked past it. I was like, I can't find it. Because again, I got confused with the calf, which when being in the store, I was in there for quite a while. I saw that a lot of people was getting confused with that as well. It is the same owner that owns both of the properties. But yeah, just go in. They do like hot chocolates. Again, not to buy to drink, but in like packets, hot chocolates, teas. Oh, honestly, it's so nice in there. And luckily, I did go in there, just because the old me again would have just walked past like, oh, whatever, I can't find it. But I actually turned around, didn't worry that other people might have thought that I've gone the wrong way. And I'm like, oh well, it's not the end of the world. So I went back and I went in and I actually met a lovely woman that was working in there called Diane. She was so nice, and for the first time in a long time I actually felt heard and able to have a conversation, a like for like conversation. It was just, yeah, it was beautiful, that interaction I had with her. I ended up telling her I had a YouTube channel, and because I obviously asked to document and she just asked where I was putting it. And I was explaining I'm on a solo date, I'm trying to push myself out of my comfort zone and do things that I've never done before, because I haven't just gone around shops and browsed for no reason. I've always had to have a reason or an intention or a purpose to go and do things, because I've always been like rushing around. I've never just chilled. I've never just browsed. I've never just been, and I've just never been present. And today I was doing that, and in that shop I was doing it. I was looking at everything because there's so many things to look at. And then I was having a great conversation with her. She did me a little sample of a green tea. It was, I believe it was a lemon meringue in a little sample pot. She asked if I wanted more, but I was okay. And yeah, it was just such a lovely experience. And the store, I love it. I ended up buying a rose quartz bangle, bracelet, sorry. I brought a bangle that said, do it anyway. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that. Because it was really, it just stood out to me, because that's what I was doing. Even though I was like talking myself out of going to Gravesend and be like, oh, I don't need to, it's a waste of time, it's just for cake, don't, all these unnecessary things I was thinking, like what I've always done. I was just like, no, just do it anyway. So I thought that was amazing. And now I look at this and think, just do it anyway. Anytime I'm feeling like, oh no, I can't, or feel that voice coming in that doesn't help me, I can look at this and be like, do it anyway. They had other ones as well that said other little messages, but again, this one was fitting to me. I also got a crystal, because they say look at crystals and see what calls to you. Don't actually call to you, but it's like you're drawn to it. It's hard to explain, but if you ever go and look at crystals, you will be drawn to one. So I got the moss agate. Again, I'm not sure if you can see it, because I can't see anything you're seeing. And I'm hoping I'm in the camera actually. I draw upon the energy of Mother Earth to heal. That's the affirmation I say for it. And then these are little cards that come with the crystals that you get. And then this bracelet is called an inspiration bracelet in brass. It's handcrafted in Nepal. I think that's how you say it. It amplifies energy, it's an excellent conductor and helps the flow of energy. And the inspirational text inscribed, can it refocus your power and energy, own and wear this inspiration and amplify the energy and meaning of it in your life. That's what's so beautiful. Anyway, I got those. And she was also telling me about this, what's it called? Future Survival. It's in Gravesend also. So it's 51 to 53 New Road, Gravesend, Kent. And it looks like they do so many different things. She was saying they do airsoft. So I need to check that out. I will link this in the description box, and I will link the tea room, the Emporium. So this person has 3 different business. Again, highly recommend the Emporium. I didn't go into Maria's tea room, but it's very busy. When I walked past, it was busy. And I walked past a few times. But yeah, check out the description box. I will link this and the vegan antics. But the point of this is, once I did that, I left that shop, I went into Primark. The point is, I'm talking about my day. Anyway, I went to, let's carry on my day and then it'll be the point. It's probably a long video, do bear with. So after I had that interaction, I bought my few bits. I felt really happy and alive, and a couple of people walked past me and I was like, oh, we're going into the Emporium, I've got my crystal bracelets. I interacted with them after because I overheard it. I was like, oh my god, go in there, Diane's so lovely, she's so sweet. And she was like, yeah, I know. So it was just it was like you interact. When you're on your own, you communicate. I was more sociable, I was more confident, I was more just loving life, I guess. I just felt really good. And then when I went to Primark, I just browsed around. I got a couple of bits. Didn't worry about if the other person that's with me, because I was on my own, but if another person was with me, it'd be like, are they getting bored? And I didn't have any of that. I was able to just walk around the shop at my own pace. I was able to buy something without overthinking it and then asking the other person, like, oh, is this okay? Should I get it? I just listened to myself. I was really tapping into myself, being so present, and it was liberating. Is that the word? I felt really liberated. And I cannot wait to do it again. I even went back to vegan antics because it was so hot on this day. The day was beautiful. The weather was stunning. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better day. The weather, it was just like everything was working in my favour. And like, all these things were like just showing me I was on the right track, because I kept seeing double numbers on my phone, like 14, 14, 13, 13. And yeah, it was just crazy. So I went back and got a milkshake, and then I was going to look for the Pocahontas thing. So I saw the Pocahontas in Gravesend before. I could not find it. I was walking around for ages. I did over 10,000 steps on this day. Couldn't find it. And then I started to get a bit like, I was like, I think I'm done now. I've looked in the little shops and I've communicated with people, I've socialised, I've done what I came here to do, but also I journaled, I read some book. So I just walked to the train station, had like 20 something minutes to wait, I think. So I just sat there, read my book, and then just looked around, observed what I could hear, what I could see. And it just felt amazing. Didn't feel in any rush. And normally as well, which was interesting, at the end of a day, if I'm with someone else, if I'm shopping, if I've gone out for the day, like whatever it looked like, if I'm with someone else, a lot of the time, when it comes to an end or towards drawing to the end of those events, whatever it is, I feel so drained and tired and irritable and like no energy, like just like this sort of like But at the end of this, at the train station, and even getting off at the train at the other end, because my boyfriend met me and picked me up, I felt energized. I felt awake. I felt alive. I felt good. And that was a really interesting observation. So I cannot wait to go out again by myself for whatever reason. I don't even need a reason, but just pick somewhere and go there and just be. I'm so excited, and even I feel like I could go to a restaurant and just sit by myself and eat. And I was talking to someone at work actually about this, and I said to them, go for a date by yourself, just sit and have some dinner. And their first instinct was that that's so sad. But it's not so sad. It's actually empowering. It's actually so beautiful in my eyes anyway. I find it like that self-love for yourself. Like wow, and I cannot wait. I might do a little channel of this, like solo dates, pushing myself out of my comfort zone, doing it anyway. But yeah, I highly recommend, if you're able to, just take yourself out for yourself, just for you, no one else, not having anyone else with you, and just pushing yourself. If you thought before, I want to walk in that shop, but I can't because I feel a bit uncomfortable, they might look at me, I might feel pressured to buy something, blah, blah. That voice, you can acknowledge it and be kind to that voice. I don't need to hear you, and just do it. Do it anyway. Just push yourself and just do it. And that's what I was doing on this Friday. I went to Gravesend. I had those moments where I was like, oh, I can't go in that shop because I feel like I need to buy something, or I just don't fit in, or no. No, thank you, Tixe. I'm doing it anyway. And I did. And it felt great. Nothing bad happened to me. It wasn't the end of the world. I didn't die. I didn't. Just did it. What was I so frightened of? Doesn't matter if I'm not spending money. A lot of the time, nobody notices. Like, nobody cares. You're just another customer. So yes, I'm grateful that I went on a solo date. I'm grateful that I pushed myself and I didn't listen to Tixe. I just did it. What are you grateful for today?